A Scanner Darkly is an excellent and engrossing reading experience. A Scanner Darkly is a great book that I'll likely never read again. I'll explain why in a moment. Philip K. Dick's novel, published in 1977, is a frightening look at the reality of drug abuse and the impact it has on users and those in their orbit. There also happens to be a few science fiction elements. I recommend A Scanner Darkly if a peek under the hood into the world of substance abuse is a look that you want to take. Dick captures the hallucinatory agony that accompanies addiction. He also paints the picture of a world that neglects this suffering and exploits it, capitalizes on it. I recommend A Scanner Darkly as a diversion from science fiction that boasts outer space, fancy future technology, or artificial intelligence. This novel is barely science fiction. While the novel is intended to be character-driven with a strong focus on interpersonal relationships, I probably won't recommend this as your strongest reading option for that. There are a few surprises, but nothing that will blow your socks off. I also won't recommend this if you're looking to get a feel for Philip K. Dick as a science fiction author. Go to Ubik or Valis for that. Whether or not you've read the book, you can definitely get something out of this review. I won't spoil anything, but I will talk about what I got out of it, and hopefully those of you who have also read this will let me know what you got out of it, as well as subscribe to the channel in the process. I mentioned that I'm not likely to read this again. That's not an indictment of the book. A Scanner Darkly is a perfect example of how a reading experience, separated by decades and stages of life, can be wildly different. I've experienced this novel in two unique ways. I first read this in my 20s. It was a fascinating experience walking around in this very foreign to me world. Here was a subculture of individuals getting high, seeing things, and making bad decisions. It was a world of two classes, users and non-users. Dick was drawing from his own life experience to let the naive, curious, inexperienced me witness a strange and fascinating reality. This novel landed hard for me, and it really blew me away. My naivety was necessary to this being a mind-bending, mind-blowing experience. Now in my late 40s, reading this, I expected an equally exhilarating ride. Didn't happen. In the decades between reads, without getting too personal, my life has been impacted significantly by others dealing with substance abuse. I'm not so naive. While I've not used drugs, I have seen up close what it does to those who have and how it impacts their lives and the lives of those around them. Life becomes unpredictable, and it's filled with crisis after crisis. With this lived maturity and awareness, A Scanner Darkly now reads like a slice of life more than a dip into the unknown. I'm not less impressed with the read, but with life experience in tow, the story felt less inventive and less far out. Most of the time, everything felt very par for the course. I'll give you my final thoughts on that in a moment. A Scanner Darkly is set in Orange County, California in the mid-90s. Main character Bob Arctor is an undercover law enforcement agent. The scourge of the street is Substance D. Substance D, also known as slow death, as the name suggests, is deadly. The drug is highly addictive, and it's a one-way road into insanity. The opening pages find a minor character, Jerry, consumed with hallucinations that he's constantly being attacked and covered by bugs. He's so consumed by this that he showers all day long, and he nearly bathes himself in toxic bug sprays. It's evident very quickly how those in his life are also drawn into his delusions. Where the science fiction comes into play are their surveillance offices, where undercover agents review footage of bugged apartments and meet with superiors. Because this is a somewhat dystopian world and maybe even other cops can't be trusted, the officers wear scramble suits. Scramble suit technology allows the agents to blur or scramble their appearance to those around them, keeping their identities intact. It's not an uncommon trope in police or drug fiction for an undercover cop to find themselves in a situation where they have to actually use the product. This is one of those situations. This isn't a spoiler, as the back cover of the book will tell you as much. You're going to see Bob Arctor casually using Substance D. You're also going to see pretty much everybody else in his circle using it also. Slow death attacks the connections between the different areas of the brain, right and left, ultimately damaging it beyond repair. The biggest mysteries in the book are, will Bob retain his cover? Will he become a damaged addict? Will he be an effective agent and catch the bad guys? Arctor's primary target is not the immediate group of users that he infiltrates. Those folks are just hopefully maybe stepping stones to the larger dealers, suppliers, producers. In many ways, this is a lot like other undercover drug cop fiction that you might watch or read. The story is well written, and where it's novel is in the brief science fiction moments, the fictional drug, and the scramble suits. The bulk of the story will involve Bob Arctor's interactions with his roommates James Barris and Ernie Luckman and his dealer Donna. In their interactions, Dick doubles down on the propensity for distrust, codependency, disillusion, paranoia, an extreme hallucination that comes with drug addiction. As far as mood reads go, the book is a downer, and it's even a dark comedy at times. It excels in this lane. Because the themes in this book are as familiar to me as I think they'll ever be, I don't expect that there's much more that I'll get from another reading. I believe there's value in bearing witness to the existence of dark spaces in our world, and this book accomplishes shining a light on some of those spaces. Digging deeper into my takeaways for A Scanner Darkly, here are my 5 likes and 5 dislikes for the book. These are mostly at least mildly spoilery, so if you haven't read this book and you're really eager to hear the Mark Cohn-inspired tribute cover music, go on and skip ahead. Dislike number 1, the entire first half of the book feels a little bit one note. To use a movie reference, it feels as if the camera is rolling and it's all done in just one long take. Dislike number 2, Dick usually keeps you on your toes, keeps you guessing, and he twists your mind. It's not that there isn't anything twist-worthy here, it just doesn't really deliver for me on this front. Like number 1, I really like what he does with Bob and Donna early on. It's really interesting how it almost reads like Bob feels entitled to Donna, and maybe there's a little bit of thinking that he's above her and that he's entitled to her body. And it's just such a shock to him when she rejects his physical touch, so much so that he imagines getting his gun and blowing her face off. Like number 2, the commitment to the 6-foot-tall hash man idea. It's my kind of absurd. Nobody was worried about beating a dead horse, and they really let the ridiculous idea run its course. Like number 3, the scramble suit technology is cool enough from a practical hide your identity from everybody perspective, but I really appreciate how useful it is in contributing to Bob Fred's descent into madness. Since he can only see Bob and not himself as Fred, it's really easy to buy in and avoid the obvious pitfalls of maybe Fred seeing Bob in a reflection and all the chaos that would ensue from that. Like number 4, Dick likes his tests, and for fun, comparing the left-right brain sanity tests in A Scanner Darkly to the empathy tests in Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, the winner is A Scanner Darkly. Like number 5, so much is so strikingly real. Fred's mind being lost and him not knowing it's lost, it's just accurate. It's an understatement to say it's profound to witness somebody in slow motion succumbing to this effect of long-term drug use. It also rings true to see how individual, lonely, and desperate the situation or the process is. Dislike number 3, the gas tank analogy when the testers are explaining Fred's left brain and right brain results. I'd have gone back to the drawing board on this one. Dislike number 4, I always appreciate with Dick that I leave with a lot to think about. Dick really has a good record of presenting ideas and then getting out of the way for you to think it through for yourself. In A Scanner Darkly, it felt as if, especially at the end, he was really trotting out a number of ideas to see if any of them would have traction or stick. This feels a little out of form. The closest that he gets for me to finding a quote-worthy line is maybe, "The living should never be used to serve the purpose of the dead." I mean, yeah, and I kind of get it, but it just feels a bit maybe trying too hard. Dislike number 5, dialogue is unimpressive. This is a weak point for the book. I'm especially thinking about Mike and Donna at the end of the book talking about Bob Archer. It just really lacks any real punch. Thank you for watching. I'm Michael Everts, and this is Fit to be Read.
Put on my scramble suit and I review the tapes. Look down through the end of a darkened glass like a scanner at a hologram. Made a call to Donna to score me some substance D. Said I got you, I can dig it. Now I'm as high as a man can be. Then I'm tripping on slow death. I'm flying 10 feet high and feel invisible. Tripping on slow death. How can I really know if this is real? Then I'm tripping on slow death. I'm flying 10 feet high and feel invisible. Tripping on slow death. How can I really know if this is real?